test?
Yeah,
Test?
so we're just testing to see if the sound.
Test?
Really muted music.
Vanessa?
We are live now.
Okay, good evening. We will now call this evening's meeting to order. This is August 11th Committee of the Whole. For those watching the live stream, we are experiencing technical difficulties and we do not have video tonight, only audio, so please bear with us. First item on the agenda is declaration of conflicts of interest. Does anyone have any conflicts to declare? Seeing none, we'll move to the adoption of the agenda. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, my seat page is missing. Services Manager Arbo.
I have a conflict with the grant request.
Do we just have the one? It's the Grace
Yes,
Point.
Grace Point Church.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll now move to the adoption of the agenda. Do I have a mover to adopt the agenda in its current form? So moved by Councillor Esty. Do I have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Murray. I'm just going to try and give it to both of you, apparently. Are we ready for the question? We'll now proceed with the vote. All those in favor of adopting the agenda in its current form, show your consent by saying yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Next, we have the adoption of minutes for the June 16th Committee of the Whole meeting. Do I have a mover to adopt those minutes in their current form? So moved by Deputy Mayor Martin, seconded by Councillor Jean Gras. Are we ready for the question? We'll now proceed with the vote. All those in favor of adopting the June 16th Committee of the Whole minutes, show your consent by saying yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried. On to new business. There's none listed. CAO Downey, do we have any new business we need to address that I'm not seeing just before I move on?
It might just be your view.
Oh, sorry. It's how it's, sorry, 5A. Yeah, my apologies.
Okay, so, sorry.
So 5A is correspondence and 5A1 is vacant land levies. So CAO Downey, did you want to take us through that, I guess?
I will. So I've included a copy of the UMNB's background document in your eScribe. So for context of those watching, GNB is investigating the possibility of a legislation change affecting vacant lands in local governments as part of their property tax overhaul. This would permit, we think, local governments to have control on this levy and to be able to create bylaws to impose a levy on vacant properties. I drafted a letter outlining some concerns for council's consideration. If there's anything that's not listed in the letter, maybe just let me know your opinion, or if there's something that you don't agree with. There's a working group actually meeting on the 13th. I can't remember if that's tomorrow or the next day, which is why I'm bringing this now, just because if I can send it off tomorrow for their meeting.
So this is something, guys, that I had previously sent an email on. Excuse me. So this letter has the feedback that I had supplied, as well as Councillor Boomer's. If anybody else has anything they want added, that's kind of why we wanted it on the agenda. Or if there's something on there that you disagree with, we should discuss it so that we can. My biggest concern with this is I don't want them to make it mandatory. I want it to be our option to apply it, because there are situations I can't think of situations we have right now where it would be a problem for us. So really, yeah, we're just looking for feedback that we can add to this letter so that it can get sent out. Any comments, any feedback? Deputy Mayor Martin?
Overall, I think the comments were really good with what you brought up and what was put in it. I just want to state that from my stance, I'm very concerned on this being brought forward, especially for rural residents and communities. I do not see a place for this in New Brunswick.
The drive behind it is when we went to the zone meeting for UMMB, that there were councils that want it, that are looking for, there's specific properties that are abandoned, that they're looking to have something done, whether it's developed or sold or what have you. So there are municipalities pushing for it. That's why I'm concerned about us making sure that we get our feedback in, that we want it to be optional, because there are areas that are asking for it, and I don't want them to feel that everyone wants it, because I don't think that we want that. Councillor Esty?
So when you heard about this, was there anything in the language that you heard so far that, say it were to become mandatory, have you heard anything yet about they would mandate a certain rate or
No, so-
the definition of vacant, or would we be at liberty to sort of determine that on our own, even if it were mandatory?
So, sorry, the union is advocating for the province to do something.
I see.
Because some municipalities want it. So we haven't been presented anything from the
see.
province, because it's not them saying, hey, we're gonna do this, and us trying to get in on it. It's us saying, if you're gonna advocate for this, please make sure that it's optional and it's.
Perfect.
Because, yeah, like, I have a lot of concerns about, especially around, how are they gonna determine what's vacant land?
Exactly.
Like, if a farmer's farming the land, or if a farmer has farmland but someone else is farming it, is it vacant because he's not, like, you know,
Right.
there's so many gray areas. I just would rather.
That's what I was saying, like,
Yeah.
who defines that?
Right. So that's kind of the concern I have with it. Not, if it's optional and we choose not to do it, then we don't have to worry about it.
Exactly.
It's,
Okay, thanks.
okay. Anybody else? Oh, sorry. Deputy Mayor Martin?
In your conversations about this, was there any correlation to what's already in place with people with larger acreages of land that have the additional cost on it?
No, because the request came from the urban municipalities. So like Moncton brought it up at the zone meeting, but I don't want to say what other municipality, because it was a councillor and I'm not sure which one she was from, so I don't want to say it was
Nope.
this. But another municipality echoed the sentiment that it was, you know, we have this property, we'd like to see somebody do something with it. So it was like they have instances where they're finding it would be valuable or useful. So they're the ones asking to have the ability to, if you're refusing to do anything with it, then we can tax you a specialized levy on it.
Okay.
Anything else? Okay. All right, so we're all okay with sending what's presented? Okay. Okay. So the next one is, okay. So the next one is the letter of support for the school. So, all right. So a couple of things on this one. I'm going to go first because I received an email about it. So I won't call out the counselor, but I received an email from a counselor saying that they understand that the mayor speaks on behalf of the municipality, but at no point did council decide that Maple Hills was going to provide land to the province. Never mind at less than fair market value, unless I'm mistaken by the meaning of less than acquisition costs. Indeed, this issue has never been voted on or discussed in council, closed session or otherwise. The mayor simply cannot offer assets to other parties without consent or direction from council. So, this is a letter of support. So there's two different things that I want to touch on in this, because I was really disappointed to get that email. So, I'll start with the support itself. So the letters for support, it's not to say that we're going to sell the land, we're going to supply the land. We support it. So if we go back to, this is the letter we got June 6th from the Irishtown Community Center when they were asking us to take over the property. So when we got this letter, part of the letter stated 2023. Oh, sorry, I thought I said the year. Okay, yeah. To focus on the property development as detailed in the revitalization project. So the revitalization project, which I think Hannah printed one for us in case anybody wants to look at it, part of that was to have the school on the property. So we agreed to support that when we took this property over. So on February the 18th, I had sent an email to council, and in the email, I had said as well, I believe we discussed briefly about this in conversations either before or after the meeting before Christmas. But in case everyone didn't hear, Hannah and I did have a call in the fall with someone from DTI, and they were looking for potential sites for the new school. Our property isn't off the table, but they prefer to have more than one option to review. So we talked about the school when we talked about paving the parking lot. We've talked about it for some of the other things. I don't think it's a surprise to council that we're open to this school being here. Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, if everyone else around the table does not think that when we agreed to take over the property, that we agreed part of the revitalization was for the school to be here. And so I'm a little surprised to have somebody say that we hadn't voted on supporting it since we took the property over and agreed to it at the time. So I'll let you have the floor, but I'm just going to finish. So the other part of this was, so when we do a letter of support, and I checked with a couple other mayors, and typically some municipalities will just do a letter of support. We had discussed that early on. I didn't think that was fair. We did a conversation about a letter of support. One of the councillors didn't like that we hadn't supplied the letter. So we tried sending the letter via email after the meeting, after we had the discussion. It takes too long that way. It's back and forth, back and forth. So we started including the letter with the agenda so that everyone could see it ahead of the meeting. We could debate it at the meeting. But it's a draft letter. The idea behind it is for us to debate it and discuss how we want it worded, just like the last one we did. I know exactly what the councillor was referring to in the letter that they didn't like. I didn't like it either. But the point of it is to have the draft for us to discuss it and change the language as a group. But if in sending these drafts out, those are going to come back at me as some sort of an attack that I'm doing, that's the whole point of sharing the letter, so everyone can see it and give their opinions on it, not to suggest that I'm saying that we're going to do what's in this letter. So I'm really taken aback that a draft was supplied and it was deemed as me promising things. So I just want to make it clear that when we submit these drafts, that it's not, they're open for debate, they're open for discussion, they're open for us to change them as a group. And I'd prefer to keep it that way, as opposed to us having a conversation and then me just doing whatever after the fact. But if this is going to continue, that a draft is looked at as the be-all, end-all, and I've done something I shouldn't have done, then I'd prefer we don't supply the drafts anymore, because I'm not going to have emails in my inbox like that all the time. So I'm happy to take the floor. I wanted to address those things because I was really upset that that happened, and I don't think that it was fair because it's a draft, and this is why we're having this conversation on this topic. So I'll give the floor. Next in queue is Councillor Gingras.
Okay, first, I'm the one who wrote the email. So I just want to apologize first because I didn't know it was a draft. I thought it was something that was sent out, and then it was like, oh, here, council, for your opinion, or for your information, here's the letter I sent out. And there's a difference. One other thing that I want to point out is that there's a difference between supporting a project and just giving stuff away. We're not in a position as a municipality yet to be giving away surplus land because we don't have surplus land. And so I don't want to be promising or giving away things to the province when, you know, I know you read that the revitalization plan, but that was very early. That was 2023. And, you know, to me, like if I'm going to go back, there's a difference between support and there's a difference between giving away.
So
we're not going to.
We were never giving the land. I want to be clear on that. We were never giving.
Yeah.
We were supporting them considering this property for the project.
And that's why I said, if this means that, then we haven't discussed this. Council hasn't met to discuss this in closed session, especially because it's one of the 3 Ls.
That's why we're here right now. That's why it's on the agenda. That's why we're drafting the letter, to have this conversation.
Yeah, and I apologize for that at the beginning when I said I thought this was a letter that was already sent out, that it wasn't a letter that we were just discussing.
Okay, okay, nope, that's fair. Councilor Murray?
I'll say I know, like, we've talked about this on, like, you know, ad nauseam about the potential for the school being here. When they came to us 2024 maybe about a letter of support for building a new school in Irishtown, we had talked about it then. It was even brought up with the trail committee of why would we put all this money into the trails out back there if that's where we're going to put the school. And I'm pretty sure that was you that had mentioned that, David, at the time. Like, there's been a lot of talk, and it's been no secret to anybody that a school back there was a potential thing that we had seemed to kind of all support at some point, that we'd get a new school in the area and that would be good for the area because, once again, Mountain View was old when I went there, and I'm 38 years old, so with not a whole lot of resources. So I think it's good to see this letter. Like I said, it's obviously I don't want to see it given away for free, but we've talked about it ad nauseum when it comes to the ball fields and this building and the community center and kind of working it all together along with the potential school. I know they've mentioned different issues with the property, and I don't know if they'd actually go with it. I know there's other properties that they're looking at around the area. So this isn't even to say that we're going to get it, because like I said, I know of at least one other property in the area that's getting surveyed and stuff by the province, for a potential site. So like I said, I have nothing wrong with the letter for a draft, and like I said, I support a school in the area, especially here for sure. So
Okay. Deputy Mayor Martin?
The letter of support for the school, I think, is something that should have been on our radar, I think, all along, right from the day we agreed as a council. I know Councillor Bromer was not on the council at the time when we agreed to take over the property, part of the revitalization, so on and so forth, what it would mean to the whole community, not just programs that are offered, et cetera, but what it would actually do for this property, our residents, our kids, the funds that would bring into this property as far as potential fields, playgrounds, et cetera, as well as potential support from all the kids and different programs that could take place from community centers and, say, a regrowth of community groups, potentially. It's just no surprise, this letter to me. I do understand when it comes to this stuff with the province, there's no giving it away. But as a council, looking at the community whole and what it means, and the amount of kids and families that could support. As Councillor Murray said, Mountain View was old when we went there, and we're not young anymore. It was old when our parents went there. And we all know that they've been trying to shut it down and send the kids into the city for quite some time. So we have rural families, we have rural roots, and we'd like to keep it out there. There are multiple properties that have been listed to be essentially surveyed and that, but I think being able to have that school on this property would make a big improvement, not just for this property, but the area as a whole, because we're going to have families coming in, kids taking part in different sports, what we'll be able to offer from that point on, and the funds that can come in from higher levels of government. So where I stand, I see no issue with a letter of support, because it's just that, a letter of support for the time being. It's not negotiations, it's just a letter of support.
Okay. Councillor Esty?
So with the letter, I think the letter's fine. Just kind of acknowledging Councillor Ginger's point that a letter of a letter of support is not like an LOI. It's not a contract. It's not a binding agreement. So in that sense, if there was language in it that implied that land could be received below fair market value, that wouldn't bind us to it anyway. And reading it, I don't think it's written in a way that's that specific. However, I do agree with the premise of the misunderstanding that that would have to be something that we'd have to discuss. Because if you can imagine the province building a school, like if it were actually earmarked, a school would be tens of millions of dollars. So the province having to pay a couple extra $10,000 to acquire land, I don't think would make or break something of that scale anyway. And it's certainly something that I would hope would hit council, and it sounds like it would.
Yep.
So bearing all that in mind, I support the letter as written.
Okay. So there are two versions that are posted there. I would agree that the first one, that there was some language in it about lowered land costs. I understood what Hannah was getting at. It was the potential that if we were willing and someone else wasn't, it could cost the
Right.
province more if they went with a property
I was
that the
looking at
people
version
weren't
2,
willing.
sorry.
Okay. So let's skip over version 1 and go to version 2.
Yes.
Now, I just noticed something in here that I didn't catch earlier that we should update. The proposed new school is K-8. Yeah, so just so we make sure. But if there's anything else in this newer version of the letter, which is shorter, that we want to see changed, I'd like us to hash it out now and get it on the table now so that we can get it cleaned up. But that's really just the ask here, is if everyone supports it, or if the majority supports it and everybody can agree on the language, that's what we're looking for here. Again, we're not proposing we give them land. We're not proposing that we'll cut them a deal. We're saying that we would support having the school on this property, largely for a lot of the reasons that the deputy mayor indicated. So do we have any trouble with the language in the new letter?
It's good.
Sorry, your mic's lit up. I kept thinking you were going to say something. Okay, so everyone's, there's no video. People are going to be so confused. Okay, so everyone's satisfied that we could send off this new version of the letter and not be, I'm just going to ignore you now. Okay, so if we update the K to 8 from K to 5, then we should be good to fire that off. Okay, so the next one is dangerous and unsightly. And Hannah has worked, I think, probably the most with Maritime, so I will let CEO Downey take the floor.
Yeah,
on
I'm
that one.
absolutely not going to take any credit for these files. Maritime Enforcement has been doing everything. We just tidied it into a neat little package, so it kind of just gives the timeline of everything that's happened with this one particular file. Maritime Enforcement, when we contracted them for 8 hours a week, they've been they promised that they would work on 3 active files at all times. We have been sending a lot more their way, and they have been doing what they can. And it's mostly to do with just people wanting to collect garbage in their backyard, and so they've been doing those. But the big files obviously take some time. You can see this file started back in. Do I have the wrong year there?
Nope, January this year.
January, sorry, yeah, so it's been several months. I don't know if anyone's had an opportunity to look at their report, but basically, we've come to the point where it's past their date to do anything. And so the next thing that they have to do is have permission from council or get an idea of council's desire to do a cleanup. I hope I included pictures.
Yes, a lot.
Okay. So basically, it was deemed by an engineer that it is not safe, and their recommendation is ultimately what Maritime Enforcement is suggesting that takes place. These files, this is one of these things where the municipality takes on the cost of it, and then you apply to have it apply to their property taxes, so we recoup the money the next year. What I don't know right now is how much it's gonna cost. But they will find all of that out. They just need to know if this is something council wants to continue pursuing.
So can I just ask, is that the only structure on that PID?
Yes.
So the other property is a separate, or the other structure is a separate? Okay,
So there's a former
I
deck.
should say lack of
that,
structure, but,
It looks like it was an attached deck at one time. So it's the remains of that the remains of that home and the deck. So they're suggesting filling it in, yeah.
Counselor Murray?
The original home burnt down, and which is where you see the foundation, and then
Started.
a family member started rebuilding there, which was that deck, and through rebuilding on that deck pad area, is they had another fire that also burnt the place down. So yeah, that's the two structures.
Counselor Boomer?
Do we know why we've been billing them for residents, for a home and the lot for years? Because it's assessed quite high and it's just a pile of rubble on an empty lot.
So the property owner that would have been receiving the property tax bill could have applied to the province to be reassessed.
Okay.
As far as I know, that hadn't
They
been
didn't do
done.
that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think what CAO Downey is looking for is for us to indicate whether we feel we should proceed with cleanup, which requires us to pay, and then apply to have it reapplied to the tax bill. So if we can have some input on that. Counselor Murray?
I'm in favor of doing just that, having them
Okay.
clean up the area.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were
Sorry.
done.
No, just clean up the area and then put it on the person's tax bill for the reimbursement.
Okay. Apparently I had had enough. Deputy Mayor Martin?
Just so everyone listening can understand, CO Downey, can you explain how this person, they've been tried to be contacted multiple times?
Yeah, so there's a timeline that has to be followed by the court. If you want me to go through the timeline, in January, at the beginning of this year, there was an initial inspection was done on the property. The inspection was completed on January 28th, and it was followed, they decided at that time that they would wait until the snow melted to have a better idea of what was underneath of the snow. March, there was an unsightly premises notice issued to the property owner. March 30th, there was a secondary inspection done to see if there were any efforts made to do any type of cleanup. Nothing at that point looked like it had been touched. And this is the time where if it's a structure like this, then they want an engineer's opinion on whether it's structurally sound. So the recommendation was made to do a structural assessment. April 7th, there was an entry warrant issued by a judge. April 13th, the property was inspected by law enforcement. So April 7th, the warrant, April 13th, they did the inspection along with the engineer. And then a notice to comply, which you'll probably hear me or them refer to as a Form 4, was issued, which gives them 30 days. So that 30 days was July 8th or July 7th.
And just, sorry, I don't want to interrupt you, but just for clarity, this file was with the province before Maritime took it over and they just hadn't gotten to it yet, correct?
It's been years.
Like,
I do not know if I can, I do not know if I can comment on what the province's files, because the province didn't send us the information when we took over.
okay.
They
I
didn't
know
send us-
we discussed this particular property in the past, so I thought it,
Yeah, it very well could have, but I wouldn't like to say that on record and it not be.
okay, no,
yeah.
that's fair.
And in going over the photos, it's very evident, as well with the engineer report, et cetera, that even the foundation is not savable at any point. So I am in favor of cleaning it up.
Okay. Counselor Jean.
Are we going to get a quote on the cost prior to the cleanup, or is this just, we're going to just agree now, no matter what the cost?
Nope, it's up to council. If you want us to get a quote, we can get a quote.
I would rather know what I'm agreeing to, so I'd rather see a quote, but
Okay, that's fair. Counselor Esty?
I think we should get a quote, and I'm in favor of moving this along.
Okay. Counselor Boomer?
I'm in favor of moving this along as well, but I just want to confirm, like, somebody has actually spoken with this property owner?
They've been sent correspondence.
Okay. So, thank you.
Okay, so we have 2 who want quotes and 3 who wish to proceed. Is that,
I'm in favor of quote as well. I don't see that as unreasonable.
okay, so I think consensus is they'd like to see a quote first.
I was actually just going to proceed, but yeah, so.
Okay, so the next steps would be, I believe Maritime Enforcement need a motion from council, like at the next meeting.
Okay.
So I'll have a quote for then, and, well, hopefully, because it's only a week from now, so we will see. But before they can proceed any next steps, they need guidance from council.
Okay,
So it will either be on the August 18th meeting in a week, or it will have to be pushed to the September meeting.
okay. Okay, anything else on that topic before we move on? Okay. So next, we have the grant requests, and the first, oh, sorry, I'm punching your screen here. So the next one is for the Irishtown Community Center, and the grant request is an application for Family Fun Day. Is this something you want to go through, C.O. Downey, or do we have?
I don't mind going through it because I always think, well, we've done this before, but there's people listening at home and Councillor Boomer. So essentially, the Irishtown Community Center will be hosting their 5th annual Family Fun Day. Council's part in this day is they do like a corn boil where they give out corn to residents. So council usually participates in that. But in order to make this happen so that it's generally a free admission except for the barbecue, they rely on sponsorships. So they are requesting again this year $500 from Maple Hills. And just for reference, council has given $500 in the past.
Excuse me, my second page isn't loading, but I think it does show their budget, though, it's quite high, like we're not funding the whole project.
The total budget, I believe, is $8,000.
Yep, there, yeah, estimated cost, yeah, okay, so just for clarity, again, for people listening, we're not funding the event, we're just helping to support it by, if we choose to sponsor. So any comments, feedback on this request? Deputy Mayor Martin?
I think it goes without saying that this has been a growing and increasingly popular event each year, so the more we can have put on by community groups, I see it as a positive.
I think we should make it a competition. Between Canada Day and that, like, I'm starting to wonder which one's bigger. Okay, anybody else? All right, so the next one is the Grace Point Church request, so we'll let Services Manager Arbo find her way out. So for those with no access to the video, Services Manager Arbo has left the room and the door is closed. Okay, CEO Downey, did you want to go through this one? I know we had this one last year as well, but again, there's people listening and new council, so.
Yeah, that's right. So we did this one last year. Council donated $500 to this one last year. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. If you'll give me a minute, I'll double check.
We did donate last year, but I think,
Yeah, it may not have been.
because of the budget. Oh, I thought it was because the budget was kind of starting to dwindle by the time they had asked.
So I'll check on that while you guys, if you want to have like a quick discussion. So basically, it's not sponsoring the church itself, it's sponsoring the back to school bash. So they do their church at the Lakeville Community Center. So it's the kids that attend there, but they also do they reach out to kids that live in Lakeville Estates, Lakeside Estates. And they buy them backpacks. A lot of the schools now do school supplies, so they'll do backpacks, a lunch container, a water bottle, depending on what's needed.
Okay. So, yeah, I guess if you want to check that, does anybody have any? Excuse me. Deputy Mayor Martin.
I believe Councilor Genre was right when we said 250, but with the impact it has, especially for kids, I am for the 500 for putting the
And the
funds for
fact that
them.
they're doing it again.
Yeah, if we continue this to grow it, it's only going to benefit it.
Okay. Councillor Genre?
Yeah, we had, there was something we were doing where the first time someone came to us, we gave them 250 and then, increased it to the 500 afterwards. So, and I think this fell within that. So this is the second time.
I think too, when we got this at the same time, we had like 3 or 4 other ones all at the same time. And this early in the year, there was a budget conversation about like, are we gonna?
Okay.
So I think
But
that
yeah.
was part of it. But yes, I think you're right. That being a first time request, we did try to.
I am in favor of the full grant this time.
Anybody else? Deputy Mayor Martin?
CAO Downey, can you let us know where we are at with the grant budget currently?
I was gonna ask that. I was waiting for you guys to say what you wanted to say.
Yes, I can. That will just give me a moment too, please.
So you said we did do the full amount last year?
Yeah.
That's what I
yeah.
thought. I think, David, your recollection, like I said, is the conversation around, it's only August, where's the budget sit? We don't want to run out before,
By the way, it's a good cause.
yeah,
Yeah. That's what the grant's there for.
yeah. Did you get a recording of the Jeopardy music?
That'd be good. Okay, so far in 2026, we have provided 1,450.
And what was the total for the year?
We budgeted 6,000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
all kinds of-
If I can quickly go through them if you want.
You know what, why don't you just send it out, and if
Sure.
the counselors want to look at it, but
Okay.
we can probably remember most of them now that we know that that's how much we've spent. There's not a whole lot of them then.
Yeah.
Okay, so everyone's in favor of us proceeding at the next meeting with that one. All right.
So then obviously after this, it would be 2,450. Okay.
Okay, so I will get. You can come back now. Okay. You're surprised? Okay, so the next one is circular materials, and I will definitely let CAO Downey take this one because I'm telling you, I still struggle wrapping my head around the circular materials thing, so I wouldn't try to explain it.
Okay, so essentially our services agreement ends at the end of this year. So it would just be renewing it. And just to let everybody know, and Councillor Boomer, last year in 2025, the revenue that came to Maple Hills from this was $128,000. So it's a significant amount of money. And each year it's also adjusted by CPI for gas. So, and that just increased in May from $29 to $31 per household. So when the hauler picks up the garbage, the blue garbage is sold to circular materials. And they pay each municipality that's in the contract. So I'm bringing this up now because we'll need a motion for you guys. and on the 18th, which is next week, and then we can get that signed and
So so basically what you're asking is, are we willing to put forward a motion to renew our current agreement? Okay, just so everyone's clear. So does anybody have any questions, comments, feedback? Okay. Okay, so the next topic is the UMMB conference, October 1st to 4th.
So this one is just a reminder of the conference for anyone that would still like to go, any last-minute people. Currently, the mayor and Councillor Boomer are registered to attend. It's not too late, but we're too late for the early bird pricing, and it is being held in Moncton this year. So it's slightly reduced cost.
Okay, so if anybody has changed their mind, please let CAO Downey know.
Yep.
And the last item is well, it says Plan 360 report, but there are 3 of them on there. So I don't think we're probably going to read all of those, but I was just going to give numbers if I could quickly pull them up here. This is just the Maple Hills one, right?
Yeah, just
Okay.
Maple Hills. So where we are right now, this time last year, we've received 11% less in permit values, but we're still getting extremely healthy numbers.
Councilor Boomer?
11% less in permit values from last year?
From
Oh, okay. Okay.
So yeah, those are there for you to review. Anybody have any questions, concerns now? Okay, well, seeing nothing else on the agenda, it would now take a motion to adjourn the meeting. Do I have a mover? I'll move. Moved by Councilor Esty.